Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the EEARSS Podcast Produced by Terrier TV. I am Frank Robb. That is Bill Curtis. That is Pat Fischer. What's up, guys? How goes it?
Hey, it goes well, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It is.
Today has been something flipping else, hasn't it?
It has.
Man, like where has this been all? I guess this is kind of sort of winter.
Yeah.
I guess this is Florida winter.
Yeah. How'd you do with the storms last night?
So I was in St. Augustine when they were just hitting St. Augustine. I was up there. I was meeting with Dr. John Wise and his wife, Jamie Wise, who's some research colleagues of mine.
Okay.
And whenever I was leaving, it was hitting there, and it was no joke in St. Augustine. And what was it, like 5 minutes of rain last night? It was crazy. The temperature dropped like 20 degrees in that same 5 minutes. And then it barely sprinkled and it was over.
Yeah.
It moved fast through here.
I was very underimpressed. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I don't know. Have you seen pictures of Panama City?
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying here there was nothing to it.
Well, yeah. That's because I think at that point it had picked up some speed.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I kind of shrugged my shoulders and went, they were canceling schools because of this?
They didn't cancel schools. They canceled school activities.
Oh, I thought in other parts of the state they canceled
they might have.
school.
They might have.
I know up there, was it St. Johns County?
Right, St. John's.
Yeah, they canceled school for the day.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah. But up there, it was actually a storm.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got family in Tallahassee, and they said it was.
It was rough up there.
It was. Yeah.
It was crazy looking at it going across the state. Up there, it was taking up the entire panhandle in that part of the state. And as it got down here, it was like barely there. It's barely visible.
Yep.
It had a giant sandwich, and then it was.
But you got to be prepared for that kind of stuff. You got to be better safe than sorry.
I reckon you're right, Bill.
Yep.
Story of my life.
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry.
Okay.
It's the whole reason I carry tape.
You carry what kind of tape?
Electricians like to call it electrical tape, but it's actually alligator tape.
It's alligator tape. Specifically, you go in the hardware store and ask for alligator tape.
I'm not going to ask for them. I already know where it's at. But yes, if I was going to ask for them, I would specifically say, yes, I need some alligator tape. And then once they tried to make fun of me, I'd explain to them that that's what it actually is.
Okay.
Electricians, they can't quite pull it off correctly. You know, they want to tell you it's electrical tape, but it's not.
It's electrical.
Don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them.
Yes,
let them.
Yes, you got 50 electricians using it and one alligator guy, but it's alligator tape.
Hey, which one's more? Well, I mean, okay, I probably shouldn't say which one's more important.
Yes.
Because you're right. That would probably.
No.
I could always use a rope or something instead.
Get
but
electrical
I like
shock.
That's true. Electricity.
Have you ever thought about using zip ties?
I use zip ties sometimes. So zip ties work really good on crocodiles because the way their nose is built, they actually have the nasal disc, and then it gets thinner, and then it gets thicker again. They work really good on there. But whenever we're loading them onto the boat, we're catching them alive. Traditionally, that is a piece we'll actually add to the puzzle.
Okay.
Is go ahead and add a zip tie on there. You can't trust it because again, the way their face is tapered down. Zip tie will come off.
It will come off.
Yeah,
if they start thrashing.
But it's something that makes you feel a little bit better. I mean, you're like, yeah, it's one more thing. Sure.
Okay.
It makes me feel a little bit better. So sometimes we will use zip ties, yes.
Right.
The real big zip ties.
But you use it in addition to the tape.
Correct.
You ain't going to just...
No, sometimes you'll put the zip tie on there, then get them on the boat, and then go ahead and tape them. But yeah, you don't do one in place of the other, that's for sure.
Okay.
You don't do the zip tie and go, we're all good. Yeah, we're all good. Everything's happy and copacetic, and I feel wonderful now.
Yeah.
Because your fingers will be regretting it later on.
Asking for trouble.
Oh, 100%. Which, I mean, I do enough of that daily anyhow.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I digress.
Indeed.
Pat, super awesome to have you here, buddy. Want to start off first by thanking you for all you've been doing for EEARSS and all you've been helping us with. This event,
Glad to do it.
I told Nick this. I know you're very good friends with Nick. I told Nick this last year about our event, which was true. It would not have happened without him and him helping us out with that one. That event wouldn't have happened. That is the same thing, but even more with this event because you've been such a huge blessing to us with making this thing come off, which we're talking about the EcoFest event in Cocoa Village on January 19th, which is about 5 minutes from now, the way time works.
That's right.
We were joking about that a year ago. It's like going to be about 5 minutes, and here we go. It seems like 5 minutes, and we're here.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is today, the 8th? It's like 11 days, right?
Yeah, it's not this Friday, but next Friday.
It's next weekend.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, mark your calendars.
Man, it got here so quick.
It did.
It got here so quick. But yeah, thank you so much for everything you've been doing to help us with all this. And sincerely appreciate it and couldn't have done it without you. Truly.
Glad to be on board.
Yeah,
You're
buddy.
very welcome.
It's a flippin' blast. So let's talk a little bit about Fischer Nissan. How many years have you guys been in business there?
Well, we're going to go with 71 being the first. So what's that, 53 years?
53 years.
Yeah.
So talk us a little bit through that journey. And at what point did you know that was something you wanted to take over from the family business? Did you automatically know that, hey, that was going to be your thing? Or was there a point where it kind of clicked and went, this is going to be my jam?
Was there a point where you rebelled? Said, no, I'm not going to do this.
I guess somewhere in college, conversations back and forth with what am I going to do afterwards. So somewhere in there, I had to know because I didn't do any of the, what's the thing when you go to all the interviews that they do in the colleges, all that. So I didn't go do that. So,
You think you already kind of knew at that point that that was going to be your jam?
Well, was it expected of you?
No.
That's a good question.
Okay.
It was said, hey, listen, if you come and do this, that's great. I'll slot you right, teach you, all the stuff you need to know. But if you don't do the job right, I'm going to fire you. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I heard those words.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I worked hard, but there was a couple, sketchy moments there between my dad and I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always. I mean, I worked for my uncle for a long time, and it's working for a family's tough.
It's
There's nobody that will be tougher on you. There is nobody out there that will be tougher on you.
Yeah.
And expect more from you too, because they know how you're supposed to be working and what you normally do, and yeah, that's a real thing.
For sure. Yeah, indentured servant.
Yes.
Yeah, I lived that world.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So, man, tell us a little bit about the journey of Fischer Nissan from the beginning to where it is now.
So, like when you were in high school, did you work? Did you work at the dealership?
So I was on the swim team here.
Right.
And it wasn't uncommon to swim before school and after school.
Right.
So that was considered the job.
Okay.
And all my rewards and all that stuff really came from swimming and how involved I was with that kind of thing. But it was very clear if I ever quit the team, then that was an accepted job application.
Okay. And like swimming is pretty much a year-round thing. I mean, even in off season, like right now, they're swimming in the pool every morning.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Even 7 days a week when you're really getting into it. So, yeah, this is a real serious swim team here.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, when I graduated high school, I was good. I had a couple college scholarships available, and I just asked him, do I have to do this? And when he said no, I was like, good to go. I put my goggles to the side, and
So there was never a thought of that, of going to college and swimming?
I mean, I had scholarships that I could have done.
Yeah, it was that just never something you wanted to go any further with?
Georgia Bulldogs, all that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I visited Florida State campus one time, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They went over the math with me. They said, hey, listen, the ratio of women to men is 7-1, freshman class. The school is 5-1, and the town is 3-1. So I tried to explain. I was like, listen, if my buddy and I go into 7-Eleven, there's 6 girls and us 2. It's just
you had your math down.
I had that.
You
down.
knew your math.
I had a skill set there.
That is hysterical.
Yeah.
That was all it took, and you were done.
That was it. I was a Seminole from there on forward.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
So you never swam there?
I ended up swimming through the fraternity.
Did you? Okay.
Yep. I was lifting weights at the time, so I had to stop lifting weights because that's counterproductive to swimming quickly. And jumped back in the pool and was really fast. Beat a swimmer for Florida State.
Wow.
Yeah, as a senior, and 30 pounds heavier.
That's pretty awesome, Pat.
I felt good about it.
Okay. Yeah,
Thanks.
That's neat. That's neat.
I got to work on my humility again.
No, I didn't know that, buddy. That's really cool. So again, let's jump back to the other thing real quick. You guys have been there for a long time. What was the dealership
I'm going to
like
interrupt
back in the
you
day?
again.
Oh, okay.
When did you build the new building?
So the building was originally built in 1978 out of what they call a greenfield. Nothing.
Right.
So built it out of nothing for $300,000, the entire dealership.
Okay.
Right. So there was some renovations and whatnot. But when I did the build, Michael Lloyd actually did it for me, did a great job. I extended the shape of it because I wanted to get some extra square feet. but it was a $1.6 million renovation, and that's a renovation. So
Wow.
Right.
think
Okay.
about the original dollars,
Wow.
but that was in 2016.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember it was quite a transformation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was partially next door too, right?
Sorry?
Wasn't part of it next door too, at the like the covered area over there, or was that a whole different building? I thought there was a covered area that had bricks on it or something.
Oh, covered there.
Oh, you're talking about what's the Enterprise?
Yeah, what
Building
didn't
now.
that used to be part of
That was
the dealership
that
way
was
back in the day?
originally
Okay.
in 2009. So
Okay.
moved into what was a Chevrolet dealership in
Gotcha.
2009, and but that renovation didn't come till 2016.
Okay.
Ironically, I had a manager that had been with me for 20 years, one of my closest friends, did the final build on it in 2016, actually came back to work for me Monday. And so it's kind
Wow.
of, yeah,
It
it's
all came around.
Comes full circle.
yeah, he's
Okay.
actually kind of training. I've got him just on staff, but he's a phenomenal guy. His name's Jim Britton. So
Okay.
anybody knows that name? Yeah.
All right. I noticed something about being at your shop and just watching you and everybody interact. It's one of those places you cannot not be there and gain some type of knowledge. I love surrounding myself with people that have different knowledge bases than I do. And it's neat for me if I'm sitting there working on social media stuff or whatever's going on and just listening. Because there's some of the coolest interactions that happen. If you hear like managers or salesmen talking to customers, or different managers interacting with employees, and there's something to be gleaned off of all of it. It's really neat. I don't know how else to really describe it other than go it's so different and awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I like things like that. This year, whole new year at the dealership. What kind of things are you expecting? What's going on there at the dealership this new year?
Well, I didn't put any thought into that.
Well, so it's 2024. We just got into a new year. I know you guys are going big behind Frontiers. Big behind Frontiers.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that and what you guys are focusing on there at the dealership.
So Frontier we believe we have a competitive advantage of that product. There's a lot of good products on the market, but from a truck standpoint, we really stand out price-wise as well as product-wise. Excellent quality.
They're beautiful trucks.
Good-looking truck. Just really did a great job with that truck. It's also one to where everybody knows we have inventory challenges or have had. Most of our car lines are back. That is one to where we have no problem with inventory. So whenever we try to promote a vehicle, I like to pick one that I believe in. Not that I don't like our inventory, but some of them we don't have, the inventory that we'd like, or the stock, or the models, or something like that. So Frontier is a good fit. So
yeah, there's so many different kinds of Frontiers. There's dear Lord, there's 4x4s and non-4x4s, and short beds and long beds, and cloth and leather and all these crazy interiors, and it's like a piece of candy, and you can add whatever toppings to it you could possibly ever want.
yeah.
I mean, it's already like a really good piece of candy.
So how many trim levels are there?
That's
in
what
the
there's a
trucks?
gazillion, it seems like.
So we've got a base model, S, and then it comes up to SV. We'll have more options on it. SL will have more options than that. We have a Pro 4X 4-wheel drive, model. So there's a lot of configurations in the 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive and extended cab. We don't make a regular cab, extended cab, and then a crew cab. Yeah, it's a really quiet vehicle. I like to get in each vehicle, drive them, and get my own opinion of them. So that's a truck. It's quick. It's 310 horsepower. It's real quiet driving. It's really, really well built. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
Same thing with the Z car. The Z just came out, and it's coming in. It's turbo model, 400 horsepower, and that's a real quick car and really well built.
400 horsepower for a vehicle that is literally like a paperweight.
It's
I
a
mean, they're-
cool car.
They're rocket ships, man.
Yeah.
They always have been. That has been a Nissan staple for a very long time, has it not?
It has, yeah.
The Z car's been around forever, it seems like.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and that's one of the rare cars that's kept a very similar look the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say that about many cars.
Yeah.
That's kept a very similar build and look the entire time, the whole way throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Always like the Z car. It's a really neat ride.
Yeah.
Nissan Rogue. Okay, I see you have a lot of Rogues down there.
We do.
Explain to me the Rogue.
So Rogue is now taking our position, like most car lines, as the most popular brand is the SUV model. So we sell more Rogues than any other vehicle, same nationally. It's a taller solution than a compact car or a mid-size car, so I think that's part of its popularity. So that's where Rogue fits for us. It's just a really full circle vehicle, comfortable.
What's the mileage on something like that? What kind of gas mileage does it get? Do you know?
You know, I know it'll get over 30 miles to the gallon if you drive it right.
Right.
But you know, a lot of times, you know, when you give it all she's got, you'll probably be in the mid 20s. But yeah, they're very efficient. They do everything well. So if it's going to be the best selling product, it's going to be a good car.
Sure. Oh yeah.
So this is something we talked about a little bit last time, but I want to bring up a story. I think I might have told you this. I was out at the Air Force Base late one night, getting a Gator that one of the security guys had hit with a car. And you have a very incredible relationship with law enforcement. And I'm getting this Gator, and I'm loading him up in the back of the truck. The guys are all helping me. It's like 3 a.m. And one of the guys looks at the truck and he said, "Oh, this is a Fischer Nissan truck." I said, "It is." The other guy goes, "Man, this is a good looking truck. I've been looking for a truck." His boss, who's the guy that's there with him, or maybe his sergeant, tells him, "If you're going to go buy a truck, I better not hear that you're buying something from somewhere else other than Pat Fischer Nissan. He supports law enforcement. He's our people. You go and buy one from him. You don't buy it from anywhere else."
That's great.
That's got to make you feel great to hear that you have people in the community in the law enforcement side that are behind you like that.
100%.
Yeah, you do a lot with law enforcement. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you know, kind of, we do things with that expectation, right? So we don't think that you give and, you know, it's kind of got a receipt on it.
Right.
So just law enforcement and the dealerships, you know, are kind of a natural. You know, we've got obviously a lot of cars, and, you know, they're driving cars and everyone else is, and, you know, how do we, you know, protect our citizens? You're going to get there in a car. So back in my early days, we would take and strip down all the stickers and those kind of things from a couple of the cars in the back line, and they would use those for undercover work, you know, because after a little while, the bad guys know who's driving what.
Right.
So we'd get those cars prepared, and, you know, we'd do that kind of thing. Pretty much anything, if I'm going to be asked from law enforcement, we're going to give it to them. So, and
it's a beautiful thing.
Through that, I'm good friends with a lot of guys in a lot of different agencies, and that's kind of nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful group to be behind. I mean, it's a very thankless job that gets a lot of I think that job, and more than anything, you got to realize it's a bunch of humans. You know, I know we understand that, but a lot of people don't get the idea that it's they're human beings.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
Everybody makes a mistake here and there.
Right.
And you know, there's a lot more non-mistakes than you hear about mistakes, but the mistakes always get amplified, which is a very sad thing. There's a lot of great people doing that work.
Oh, there is, for sure.
A lot of incredible human beings doing that work. You were telling me that at the Nissan dealership every year, for the past handful of years, you guys do a fitness challenge. Tell me a little bit about that.
We do. We're getting ready to start that. So for the next 90 days, we'll have our staff it's a voluntary. They're not required to do it. The opportunity to have a trainer to help with anything that they're looking for. We put out an exercise, a diet, and it's basically a friendly competition that we'll do with number of steps that you take. So we've got 4 different levels. We've got number of steps you take. It's always good to have a support person there that's a spouse or significant other. So number of couple steps, that's a separate competition. And then we do a weight loss and most transition. So everybody kind of likes that.
You see some big changes every year? You see some people that really go all in?
We do. We do. We see them training for it right now.
Really?
Yeah. They kind of eat full through Christmas and the holidays. So they're going in. Oh, yeah. They're going in ready.
It has to go down from here. Yeah. We have to go somewhere positive from this point.
We had 40 pounds lost from one guy. I think we lost 200 pounds as a crew that did it.
Okay.
Last year. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Who was the big winner last year? Can you say maybe what position they were in?
I don't think that's fair for me to
No,
say.
you ain't got to say a name, but maybe what did they do?
They worked for me, the dealership.
That's hilarious. Oh, Lord. So
They're in management. How about that?
okay, that's great.
Okay.
2024. What are some big milestones you're expecting to hit, or big things you want to accomplish?
You know, it's always one to where this is kind of like a swimming sport. You know, you're competing against yourself, right? So you always wanted to, in swimming or track and those kind of things, lower your times, right? Get faster. So you compared to you.
Makes sense.
And that's really where we try to keep our eye on the ball. You know, I'm not trying to hurt or offend or beat anybody down. You know, competitors, they're doing the same thing I'm trying to do. So it really is a service business. People can choose to buy their car anywhere. I try to relate my salespeople to say, one of my talking points is, think of yourself as a waitress or a waiter. You know, they're going to get a tip no matter what, even if they give you bad service. I said, that's the thing that separates you is when you give them great service. So that's your effort. Just look at yourself like a waiter and provide good service.
And you preach family too. You preach family to your employees, and you preach family to your employees to treat your customers like family. And that's something that you only got to sit in that showroom for a few minutes, and you see people walking in that have had those experiences that are literally they love to come in and say hey to everybody. And you see, I've talked to several people that have been there that are customers for life because of the way they were treated when they walked in the first time. Dude, that says it all.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Says exactly what you have going on.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, I hugged today one of my previous employees passed over Christmas, and his wife was in. Hugged her today. I've got 2 different managers that are retired that stopped by today. Today was kind of like old home day. My previous manager coming back to work for me is sweet. So these are just wonderful parts of being in a small business that I get to meet everybody.
That tells you something on its own too. The fact that you had an employee that left and went and did something else and then came back. That tells you what kind of atmosphere you have there. There's some people that leave a job and could never ever want to go back to the place.
Never want to darken
again.
the door again.
Yeah, for any reason. I mean, even if it's like the baddest times of all baddest times, they're never going back. But you see somebody that goes back, they're going back for a reason.
For sure.
They know what's there.
Yeah, I love it.
That's great.
It. It's if somebody's asking to come back, sometimes that takes a lot to do that, and it's that's tough. And it's not my job to judge people. Give them they're there, give them the opportunity and the compliment to bring it back. So I like to do that.
That's all you can do. Yeah, that's all you can do. All right, Bill.
Yes, sir.
Man, I cannot believe it's already a new year. I cannot believe we're in a new year.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting old.
Oh, you are definitely getting old. But we all are getting old.
It's crazy how quick things are going by. I think the busier you get in life, the quicker things go too. It's a lot of it, as I'm noticing. But
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a good problem to have.
Okay. Now I'm going to tell you this is my theory on that.
Uh-oh.
Because what happens is when you're younger, Christmas used to take forever. When you were 5, 6 years old, Christmas took forever to get here. Because 1 year was, if you're 6 years old, is 1/6 of your life. Well, now 1 year is like 1/50th of your life, or 1/40. How old are you, Frank?
Just turned 44.
Okay, so 1/44th of your life.
Thanks, Bill. I feel better
so
now. Thank
it's
you.
less. So that's why it seems to, because you have so much more experience overall, the years they get smaller and smaller because they are, in the overall scheme of things, smaller and smaller.
It's that, or I think we're time machines.
I'm going with my theory, but that's okay.
Am I weird? Is it weird to say that though? That it seems like we're time machines. How you can look back in time and then kind of plan for things in the future. It's almost like you're a time machine.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know, memories and stuff. It's weird.
Memories are weird. Yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah. It's like as you get older, they say that you remember things 30, 40 years ago better than you remember what happened yesterday.
I was trying to think of who I was talking to yesterday. I was talking to somebody that was talking about.
There's memory.
It's true.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, no, well, I'm saying
Yeah.
about that in general
Yeah.
though, but I was talking to somebody that was talking about a dream they had, and they were telling me all about this dream, and that they could remember it like vividly, this whole dream they had and everything that was going on. I remember when I was having surgery, when I woke up from surgery, like those weird drugs they put you on to make you do weird things.
Right.
I remember waking up and having these, you're still drugged, you know what I mean? And
Sure.
but I remember having these flashbacks of memories, like over and over and over again, of things from when I was a kid that I had no idea were even in my head. Talking
Oh,
about
wow.
weird stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm accessing things that are there that I had no idea were even there anymore. Or I just had no real memory of until they happened. I went, like, okay, I remember that. Why am I thinking about it now? I don't know. But
That you access stuff that you hadn't accessed in a long time.
yeah, maybe
And you
ever.
didn't even know
Yeah.
was there.
It's spooky.
That's weird. That's weird.
It's super. The brain's a weird
Yeah.
contraption.
Oh, it is. It is.
The brain is a weird contraption.
And they say we don't use hardly,
10%.
10%. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Maxing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
It is.
What's the rest of it doing? I mean, I don't, again, as someone who is biomedical, I understand a lot of the inner workings of the human body. What I've never really dug into was the brain. Because when they say that you're using 10%, is it different 10% all the time, or is it just like this one 10% and the rest of it is just kind of like the fat kid sitting on the couch? You know what I mean? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I would assume
what
it's different
10% is
different
it?
10% around all
Yeah.
the time, and then kind of evening itself out. I would hope so.
Yeah.
Other parts just super flipping lazy. Then like, what do I got to do? Just
Right.
listen. I'm gonna watch you work all day. 10%. It's gonna be super exciting.
There you go. I don't know. I don't understand it at all. So,
I don't know. All right, I digress for the second time this episode.
indeed.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to the EEARSS Podcast, produced by Terrier TV. Pat, thank you again so much for being here and chat with us. Buddy,
Enjoyed it. Thank
you're
you.
always welcome here. Really appreciate you.
Thanks.
Again,
Thanks for having me.
the EEARSS EcoFest would not be going off without your help and all your blessings behind all that. So thank you so much for your support of that event and us in general.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
Yes.
buddy, it's a blast. Thank you so much.
Glad to. Absolutely.
What we are talking about is happening January 19th in Cocoa Village. At 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., we're having presentations inside the Civic Center. Brevard Zoo, Florida Wildlife Hospital, Marine Megafauna, which they actually study manta rays. Interesting
Oh,
stuff.
wow,
I don't
okay.
know anything about manta rays. I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
Yeah.
Florida Wildlife Hospital, you name the group, they're there discussing things that are going on locally here in Central Florida and the Space Coast, things they're working on, studies they're doing. And then we're taking a 1 hour break. There's also face painting. There's games for the kids. There's wildlife inside, live wildlife. It isn't just stuff that's stuffed somewhere. You're not playing with a stuffed animal. It's actually live things. Pretty awesome.
Cool.
And then outside from 5 to 11, we have live music. It's going to be an event, guys. We have 22 vendors set up out there. It's going to be the place you want to be. And on top of everything else, it's free. Free's awesome. Free's always a win. You
It
can't
is.
beat free.
It's a huge win.
There you go.
Free
Absolutely.
is where it's at. Man.
So Cocoa Village
Cocoa Village, January 19th,
next weekend.
9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Some point that day, you can get out there. Ooh, speaking of interesting things, one of the
Yes.
raffle items we have coming is being worked out by C.T. Taylor, who a name you might know,
Yep.
who's been on the podcast
Right.
before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
CT had us a surfboard made by a local legend board maker named Gordo.
Okay.
And Gordo made us a board, and CT's taking it around to all the old school legends in the surfing world and having them all sign it.
Nice.
And then we're gelling over it, so it's going to be saved in the surfboard.
Oh, very cool.
That's going to be one of the very cool raffle items we have
absolutely.
there. Yep, Gold Tone provided a brand new guitar. We're going to be raffling off. We have so many cool
Nice.
things we're raffling. It is, again, it's free. Walk in there, see if you want to buy a raffle ticket, because I guarantee you probably do.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Cool.
We'll catch you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. EEARSS Podcast, EEARSS on all platforms. We'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.
Cheers.